Roll, please.
Mr. Bravado?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Ms. DeAndre?
Here.
Mr. Jelinek?
Here.
Mr. Kella?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Shatina?
Here.
Mr. Strong?
Here.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, this is duly advertised Plan Commission meeting for the month of June. We've got, the agenda is printed. We did have a request to move one item up, and that would be item number E on your agenda. And to honor that request, I'd like to do that. And that's an ordinance approving a preliminary plat of the Center Point Business Park I-80 Phase 2 subdivision. And I'll give you a couple of minutes to get to that.
What are you moving up, Jim?
The P713, the preliminary plat of Center Point Business Center I-80 Phase 2 subdivision. It's letter E on the agenda, under the new business portion. And before we get started with that, there is a tabling that's being requested, and that is under the new business. Item number 4, we've got letter A, and it's the public hearing approving the annexation of 115 acres located on the east side of Patterson Road, and then all the other things that go along with that. And then B is 110 acres the west side of Patterson Road. And in all of those matters, the request is that those be tabled until next month. And the petitioner has a couple of loose ends that he would like to do, so I don't know if you want to entertain the tabling motion of those items now, or whether you want to hold off to the end.
Jim, what are those item numbers?
It would be A513, A613, and A713. They're all on east side of Patterson Road, west side of Patterson Road, and effectively north of Laraway Road.
Very good. A motion's in order. Move the table.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. DeAndre?
Aye.
Mr. Jelinek?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Shatina?
Aye.
Mr. Bravado?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
All right, again, in honoring the request to move the one up, we're going to do P7-13. That's the preliminary plat of the Center Point Business Center I-80 Phase 2 subdivision. The applicant is Center Point Joliet LLC. The request is the approval of a preliminary plat. The purpose is to create 2 industrial lots for future development. Existing zoning is an I-2 general industrial. The location is west of Larkin Avenue, south of Route 6. Size of the parcel is 32.4 acres, and it's currently undeveloped industrial land. Surrounding land use and zoning: to the north is the Manville Building Products, which is in the village of Rockdale, that has an I-1 industrial zoning. To the south is the Des Plaines River with an agricultural zoning. To the east would be the Caterpillar Tractor Company, which has an I-3 industrial county zoning. And then to the west would be the Empress Casino in the Crown Trig Industrial Park. They have a combination of B3 and I-2 city zonings. Under site history, as part of the city's non-jurisdictional review authority, a preliminary plat of the Center Point Joliet Park subdivision was approved by the mayor and council back in April of '05. The annexation, the zoning classification to I-2 general industrial, and the approval of an annexation agreement was approved March of 2012. The revised preliminary plat, final, and recording were approved by the mayor and council in August of last year. Special information: the petition is requesting the approval of the Phase 2 preliminary plat in order to allow the subdivision and continued industrial development of the Center Point Business Center. There is currently a development proposal to construct a 41,000 square foot truck terminal on lot number 1. The building will comply to the terms of the annexation agreement, which allowed a metal panel construction for truck terminal uses. An overall general landscape plan has been previously submitted that complies with the city ordinance and the terms of the annexation agreement. In consideration for the right to construct the truck terminal with pre-engineered metal principal buildings, Center Point shall install and maintain a landscape entry feature, and shall also install and maintain landscaping along both sides of the main north-south entry road into the subject property in accordance with the future landscape plan. All industrial lots will maintain a 5-foot wide perimeter landscape area and submit individual landscape plans when the individual lots develop. All public improvements will be completed as per the requirements of the annexation agreement, the subdivision regulations, and the requirements of Public Works and Utilities departments. The sanitary sewer connection charges and the development impact fees will be required as per the annexation agreement. The internal city staff reviewed this at the Community Design Review Board on June the 6th. The minutes are attached, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission, Michael Hanson, on behalf of Centerpoint. We agree with the report of Mr. Howell.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission? Hearing none, any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, then a motion's in order for P-7-13.
Second.
Call the roll.
Ms. DeAndre?
Aye.
Mr. Jelinek?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Shatina?
Aye.
Mr. Bravato?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Jim, will this be on the July 1st, 2nd council agenda, please?
July 2nd, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairman, next up, we're under the new business portion and would be letter A. And the first one up is Z3-13, the reclassification of 1001 to 1003 South Chicago Street from an R2, which allows for single-family residential, to I-1 light industrial zoning. The applicant is Bob Prime. He's the owner of the partnership that owns the property. The requested action is for the approval of a reclassification from an R2 single-family residential to an I-1 light industrial zoning. The purpose is to allow zoning with land use at the parcel. Existing zoning is an R2, which only allows for the single-family. The proposed zoning would be an I-1 light industrial. The location is 1001 to 1003 Chicago Street, which is the west side of, well, obviously it's not at Herkimer and Liberty, but it's across from Knoll Park. Size of the property is 150 by 455, which is the 1.5 acres. Existing land use, it's a waste container rental business and a vacant single-family house in the front structure, and then single-family occupancy in the rear structure. The surrounding land use and zoning to the north is industrial unincorporated Will County. To the south is the former quarry with an I-2 general industrial zoning. To the east is the Park District. To the west is railroad tracks, which have unincorporated Will County zoning. Site history. In August 06, the Zoning Board of Appeals approved a variation to allow the continuation of 2 houses on 1 lot. Special information. The petitioner recently vacated the front residence and plans to rent the house in the future as a used car sales office. A special use will be required for him to do that. The rear residential structure has 1 unit. The remainder of the site is utilized by the property owner as a waste container rental facility. The north portion of the site is accessed by a long paved driveway. The gravel driveway at the south end of the site will be paved or reconfigured in the future. The grassed area in front of the site is planned as a future used car lot. A site plan on the property is attached. The Community Design Review Board minutes are attached. That concludes the staff report.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Bob? Yeah, come on up, Bob.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Robert Prime, 15232 South 73rd Corridor, Orland Park.
Thank you. Did you have anything to add to staff's report?
No, I don't.
Any comments or questions from the commission? Hearing none, any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, a motion is in order for Z-3-13.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Jelinek?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Shatina?
Does that mean yes?
I don't see the reason for this, but if there's no argument from the neighbors, I guess I'll vote aye.
Mr. Bravato?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. DeAndre?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
All right, then
Thank
with
you.
it.
Jim,
Yes, sir.
is that good planning?
Well, it's an industrial area, and we annexed it in. What ended up happening in that particular area, it always was, as you know, the Vulcan Quarry was to the south. We had the Atlas Metal would be to the north. You had Knoll Park across the street. And it was a tavern for many years. That's the way I remember it. And the tavern had residential in the back, and when they annexed in, I think it was an annexation way back when, we gave them that residential zoning because at the time that was their primary use, was to rent the property out. Since that time, the tavern's closed. There's been vacancies in the rental residential units. So really, the way it's sandwiched in that industrial area with all the truck traffic that goes by in front of it, probably the highest and best use, in my estimation, really would be the I-1 light industrial. So yes, I think it is good planning.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next up is P5-13. That's preliminary plat of Rock Run Business Park Unit 2A, re-subdivision number 1. Applicant is Industrial Development International. Jeff Smith is the agent for the owner. The requested action is approval of a 2-lot subdivision. The purpose is to create a lot for additional stormwater detention. The existing zoning at this location is a B3, which is a general business. The location is Rock Creek Boulevard and Commerce Lane. Size of the parcel is 1.4 acres, and it's currently undeveloped commercial. Surrounding land use to the north is undeveloped B3, to the south is the same. To the east is commercial B3, to the west is undeveloped with an I1. Site history: the subject property was annexed and zoned to R4 and B3 in 1973. It was rezoned to I1 and I2 in a B3 with the approval of the preliminary plat with the Rock Run Business Park back in 1990. The most recent revised preliminary plat was approved in July of 1998. Recording plats for units 2, 3, 4, and 5 have previously been approved. Special information: the preliminary plat for the Rock Run Business Park Unit 2A resub will divide the existing lot into 2 separate lots in order to accommodate an additional stormwater detention area for future development. There is no known user for Lot 2 at this time. Landscaping along the south side of the new detention area will be installed per the ordinance. All public improvements have been provided as part of the previously recorded units. All future development will adhere to the non-residential design standards. The landscaping and the screening ordinances, the sewer and water connection fees will be required, as well as the development impact fee. The Community Design Review Board reviewed this on June the 6th. The minutes are attached. That concludes this staff report.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Good afternoon. My name is William Bone with Jacob and Hefner Associates. We're the civil engineer and surveyor for the petitioner IDI.
Anything to add to staff's report?
No, it was a complete staff report.
Any comments or questions from the commission?
Yeah, I have a couple. Was this, since it was already been in existence, wasn't there already stormwater detention? Or is this considered totally separate?
It's the supported proposed development just on the north side of that intersection, and the original detention that was designed way back in the day had a certain amount of coverage that it had capacity before. So the proposed development on the north side there is going to exceed that capacity from a impervious coverage standpoint. So this additional detention will help solve that issue.
And how deep of a detention?
It's a dry bottom basin. At its deepest point, it is 4 feet deep. Again, it's during any dry time, it's going to be dry turf grass. It'll only be that deep during a 100-year event.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, a motion's in order for P-5-13.
Second?
Call the roll.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Shatina?
Aye.
Mr. Bravato?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. DeAndre?
Aye.
Mr. Jelinek?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now we'll move back down to South Chicago Street. We've got V3-13, the vacation of a 30-foot by 244.25-foot access and public utility and drainage easement located at 2401 South Chicago Street. The applicant is Route 53 Laraway Road LLC. They are the owners of the property. The requested action is a vacation of an existing access and public utility and drainage easement. The purpose is to allow the construction of a commercial travel center. The existing zoning at that location is B3, which is general business. The location is 2401 South Chicago. The easement size was read earlier. That land is currently undeveloped and under construction. Surrounding land use and zoning is undeveloped with unincorporated Will County to the north. Southeast and west is undeveloped B3 within the city. Site history: the southwest corner of Route 53 in Laraway was approved for annexation, zoning classification to B3, and an annexation agreement back in November of 2000. The preliminary and final plats were approved in '06. An amended recording plat was reapproved in 2011. An amendment to the annexation agreement for lots 14 and 15 for the Stone City Commercial Park subdivision was approved by the mayor and city council for the fuel tax rebate at a meeting that they had in May of this year. Special information: the petitioner wishes to vacate the 30 by 244-foot portion of the public utility and access easement that was to be shared by lots 14 and 15 in the Stone City Commercial Park subdivision Unit 2. A project is currently being proposed to construct a travel center, which would be Route 66 Food and Fuel, on lots 14 and 15, and the need to preserve the easement is no longer necessary. According to the attached plan, the locations of the diesel pumps for the proposed travel center are positioned over the existing easement. As of the writing of the staff report, Public Works and NICOR have responded. They are not opposed to the vacation. Community Design Review Boards meeting minutes are attached, and that concludes the staff report.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Scott, I don't know, we got Scott Gapsovich from Public Works Department. You guys were okay with this, right? So,
Yes, they're building on both lots, they're combining the two lots into one development, so no longer need to be invested for any cost.
Any comments or questions from the commission?
Yeah, this makes it sound like they're waiting for construction to start, but construction's already started down there, hasn't it?
they've started, I think, with some of the excavation and footings only. They do so at their own risk if, for some odd reason, the
I went by
utilities...
there this afternoon, and it looks busy, and
Yeah,
there's
if they-
tanks all over the place and everything.
Nothing was ever put in the easement, nothing needs to be relocated, so, again, staff was okay with the request, so did they jump the gun? They, to some extent, they're doing it, a lot of that work at their own risk. Again, there's no utilities there, so this stuff is pretty straightforward on the vacation of it.
Okay.
They did, the city council did amend their annexation agreement. They've worked with IDOT on the curb cut changes and all that stuff, so that site down there is pretty far along. It's just that this, back when we first laid this thing out, they thought that this center utility easement would service both lots, and now that they bought both lots to construct their one facility, there's no need for it anymore.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, a motion is in order for V-3-13.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Shatina?
Aye.
Mr. Bravado?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. DeAndre? Aye. Mr. Jelinek?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
All right, now we'll move directly across the street. We've got two cases. We've got P-1613, which is a revised preliminary plat of the Laraway Crossing Business Park subdivision. That's at the northeast of corner of Route 53 in Laraway. And then FP-313, the final plat of Laraway Crossing Business Park subdivision, Unit 21. The applicant is Ryan Companies U.S. Incorporated. They are the owners of the property. Excuse me, it's a LLC that includes the Ryan Companies. The requested action is the approval of a revised preliminary and a final plat for Unit 21. The purpose is to allow the continued development of industrial business lots. The location is the northeast corner of Laraway and Route 53. The size of the parcels under the preliminary plat is 20 lots. In total, it's 363.91 acres. Under the final plat, it's 2 lots, which are 63.37 acres. It's currently zoned I-1 light industrial. To the north is multifamily, single-family ComEd right-of-way with a combination of R1A and A1 county agricultural zoning. To the south is agricultural, single-family with a combination of unincorporated Will County, and then the racetrack and the Joliet Fire Station, which are zoned I-1. To the east is agricultural with A2 unincorporated Will County and some I-1 city zoning. To the west is agricultural and single-family with a combination of A1 agricultural, C4 county commercial zoning, and then B3 city zoning. Under site history, the site was annexed, Zone B3 General Business and I-1 Light Industrial, and was given a preliminary plat approval in 2000. Unit 1 was approved in 2001, and then revised preliminary for Unit 2 was approved in 03. A revised preliminary plat and final plat for Unit 7 was 04. In 07, an amendment to the annexation agreement was approved along with the revised preliminary plat. A preliminary final PUD for the IKEA Distribution Center, a final plat for Unit 13 vacation of utility easement and a dedication of Emerald Drive and Cashel Road was approved in 07. Under special information, the petitioner is requesting the approval of a revised preliminary plat, which will replace the expired preliminary plat at the site. The final plat request is to facilitate a land sale at the site. Lots 2 and 3 and lots 7 and 8 will be consolidated. Buildings currently exist on lots 2 and lot 7. Emerald Drive is built and fully improved with utilities and streetlights. Existing storm detention areas accommodate the drainage for the entire business park. The preliminary plat and final plats conform to the subdivision regulations as reviewed by Planning and Public Works. And then lastly, the Community Design Review Board minutes from the 6th of June are attached. And then I see this goes on again, and I don't know, let me see, I think it's the same.
It's just copied twice.
Yeah, it's just copied twice, so I think that concludes our staff report.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Once again, William Bone with Jacob and Hefner Associates on behalf of the petitioner Ryan Companies.
Anything to add?
I don't.
Any comments or questions from the commission?
How much land is selling here?
All told, it's about 63 acres. Once the 4 lots are re-subdivided, one lot's 32 acres and the other lot's like 31 acres.
And
Any other
Mr.
comments?
Shatina, just so you know, one of the things that we were approached by the purchaser of this, and they said that the intent was to buy the 2 existing buildings on this property. There are only 2 warehouses down there, and there's an investment group that was going to buy those 2. They wanted the ability to expand those warehouses in the future. There wasn't enough land to go along with them, but there was vacant lots next to them. So part of their purchase agreement is we'll buy the 2 existing buildings if we can get more additional land. That's what you're seeing here in front of you. Not that they have any plans to expand either one, but they wanted to have the ability to do it if the market turns.
Okay, so it's a land sale, basically.
Yes.
Very good. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Any comments or questions from the audience?
My name is Scott Glasscock. I live at 198 West Laraway Road. One of the questions that I have is that on the sale of this property, does that trigger anything to do with the development of the corner, Laraway and 53?
You mean
The sale of the property?
the improvements for the street frontages?
Yeah, that are planned?
The sale doesn't. The triggers were by construction.
Okay.
So if they were to build more buildings, that would probably trigger it. But like we had told you before, Scott, we're getting close to a deal where Ryan Companies might give the city of Joliet a lump sum payment of all the public improvement monies, where we would do it at their expense. Basically, they would give us the money, and we would finish the project off for all the street improvements. Scott, it would be for Rowell Avenue, for Laraway Road frontages on both sides, and through the intersection, and the tapers on the other end as well, like west of 53 towards your properties. But it would not include any improvements to the actual intersection itself, would it?
So that wouldn't involve me?
It shouldn't involve you. What would happen is it would probably have to get easements, or we already have those easements.
You-
Yeah, it would be west of 53 to tie into where they stopped the previous improvements.
But that's not. Yeah. But that's not part of this deliberation
That's not part
here.
of this one.
Right.
It's in the future.
Well, it's getting pretty close, because I guess they've finalized a lot of those details. What would trigger it then is we would have to get the lump sum payment.
We've agreed on a lump sum payment amount, and it's a matter of when they get it to us and
And Scott, that would not even require council approval, would it, to accept it and proceed with the project? I think the next thing would be, if we had the money in hand, then Scott's department would draw up the plans and then bid it out for construction. So not this year for sure. Yeah, yes. That's where you'd see it as an award of contract. But I know we stay in pretty close communication with you, so if we do get the money and they do plan the project, I'm sure the Public Works guys will be down talking to you.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the audience?
Yes, my name's Ken Stewart, and I live at 516 Hillside Road, right behind the ponds. And for what you're telling me right now, there's no development, it's just the sale of the land. So I don't have to worry about getting flooded or anything else again at this particular time.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And Bill, I know we had a little problems with the weirs and the drainage ponds, but the ponds are sized accordingly to handle all the drainage for all that property at time of final construction.
Correct. When the IKEA deal came through, we finished construction of the 5 ponds at the northeast corner and then the 2 long skinny ponds going down. So the detention is in its final location, final configuration. Restrictors are in, weirs are set for the overall final development of the entire 300 some odd acres. So,
Right.
but like we said, with this particular petition here is just for the land sale. There's no development, no additional impervious area with this process right now.
Yeah, but I guess to the point this gentleman's making is that everything's in place now, so we've had several years where you have not had any problems down there. Is that correct?
We ran from this last year also.
Did you?
One of the biggest problems is they ran everything into little small creeks. They both run down the side of my property. Now they're washing them all out. They're deteriorated, trees are falling over and everything else. They're discharging more water than I think the creeks were set up for originally. And it's nothing they want to do about it, so. But then it comes over the creeks and my septic fills back there naturally. Once the water runs over that, it reverses and goes into the house. So we got flooded again this year in April. And that's where I've been.
Scott, you guys have been looking at that, right?
For Christ's sake.
Right. And they were gonna come out and check the creeks and see about.
I'll call you back, I'm in a meeting.
And they're washing away now. I had a creek like this and it's from here to
Was
there.
there some sort of settlement on that?
That was something the city was supposed to be looking into and they never came back out there.
I know that there was a discussion about downsizing the normal flow, right? Wasn't that something that Jay Gregory was working with you guys to decrease the normal flow weir size or something?
Yeah, I don't remember if there was a manual way to model it back further or.
Yeah. Well, these are the guys that you got to stay in touch with. Would be the in-house folks here.
Well, we did before, but nobody ever comes out. When you go down to talk to them, yeah, we'll be out. They never come out.
Well, I don't know that, Scott, you guys are out there looking all the time. I don't know that they're knocking on your door all the time.
We were out there in that initial flood event
Right.
when they were, before those, when the ponds were installed initially. I don't
They
think the
weren't
weirs
complete.
I don't think the restrictors were put in, and at the time, it just happened to be that we had that storm event. That basically just bypassed things through those ponds without storing anything. I have not been aware of any issues.
We paid him before.
Since that initial issue, and I think there was maybe a lawsuit from
Yeah.
both property owners on each side of the creek against the developer. I'm not sure what the resolution of
Yeah.
that was. I haven't heard of any.
Well, you could.
Well, we're jumping around.
It's still a problem.
Now we're back to Rock Run.
Mr. Chairman, didn't we visit this before, Jim, in terms of that creek coming down?
Yeah.
And I think we need to separate the issue. We just made a commitment that there's not going to be any problem with water. I don't want to get it confused with the existing issue that he was working on years ago. And I think the city paid, or Ryan or somebody paid something to try to alleviate the situation. So I prefer to see that these are 2 separate items,
Right.
and that we're not making any commitments whatsoever
Correct.
on the latter item. The one we're talking about, and the one that this case adjudicated upon, is what we're talking about, and there's no indication that we're gonna have any problem with that. And that's all we're talking about.
That's all we're talking about right now, is subdivision to allow these land sales to go through. I don't know, Bill, you have any other comments toward?
Yeah, this is, there was definitely issues back when the first two ponds went in, and there was some litigation associated with that. When the IKEA deal came through and all the ponds were put in, I have not heard anything since. So this is the first time I'm hearing about it. I'd be happy to meet with Mr. Stewart and take a look at the creek, have my firm take a look at it. There was another consultant involved. They're still involved. They're the ones that designed the stormwater management system for the whole business park. So we'd be happy to meet with the city engineering staff and with Mr. Stewart. But again, it's the first time we've heard of an issue since, back in 05, 04.
Yeah, because I haven't heard anything for
Right.
several years.
Right.
The only, like I say, the only thing I know is that one of the homeowners down there asked for smaller weir size on the normal flow.
And that was put in action when the IKEA deal came through.
Yeah. So that's it, but we'll separate those and they'll meet together and work out the other thing.
Very good. Any other comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, then a motion's in order for P-6-13 and FP-3-13.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Shatina?
Aye?
Mr. Bravato?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. DeAndre?
Aye.
Mr. Jelinek?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
Okay, did we do this already? No, now I gotta, yeah, I don't know why we did this, but we're jumping around again. Now we're back to Rock Run, so we already did one portion of Rock Run. We probably should have put these two things together, so we'll do a better job on the next agendas. But we've got P-813, the preliminary plat of Rock Run Business Park, IDI re-subdivision number 1. Applicant is Jeff Smith from IDI. They're the owners and developers of that property. The requested action is the approval of a 5-lot subdivision. The purpose is to re-subdivide the future development. This area of Rock Run Business Park is B3 and I1 zoned, a portion of it's I2. Again, it's between Rock Creek Boulevard and Commerce Lane. It's 29 acres. It's currently undeveloped commercial and industrial. Surrounding land uses in zoning is to the north, undeveloped R1. To the south is industrial with B3, I1, and I2. To the east is undeveloped in commercial with B3. To the west is industrial with I1 and I2. Site history: the subject property was annexed and zoned R4B3 in 1973. It was rezoned to the I1, the I2, and the B3 with the approval of the preliminary plat of the Rock Run Business Park in 1990. Most recent plats, I think we've read this before. I'll refrain from doing that. Special information: the preliminary plat for the Rock Run Business Park IDI re-subdivision number 1 will re-subdivide an undeveloped portion of the business park to accommodate a hotel, which would be the Holiday Inn in the Candlewood Suites development on lots number 1 and 2, and the future distribution warehouse development on lot 4. The existing stormwater retention pond will remain on lot 3. All public improvements have been provided as part of the previously recorded units. All future development would adhere to the non-residential design standards, the landscaping and the screening ordinances. The stormwater connection fees and the development impact fees will be required by city ordinance, and the approved development agreement and previous zoning board of appeals variances. Then the Community Design Review Board met on June the 6th. The minutes are attached. That concludes the staff report.
Thank you. Could we have the petitioner on this item, please?
Bill's cleaning up.
Once again, William Bone, Jacob Neffner Associates.
Anything to add?
Yes, sir.
Any comments or questions from the commission? I have one. The hotel and convention center are going to be on lots 1 and 2.
Correct.
With the detention in between them.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions? Any comments or questions from the audience? Hearing none, there is a motion in order for P-8-13.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Bravato?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Ms. DeAndre?
Aye.
Mr. Jelinek?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Shatina?
Aye?
Mr. Strong?
Aye.
All right, that concludes our agenda as printed. Next up would be the approval of the minutes from the last month's meeting, May the 16th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and we have a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Hearing none. And then lastly, a motion for adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
You know what? I forgot that.